Welcome to Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and into fitness. Well, as we tape this show, just a few days before Christmas, the spotlight this week is on Aquinas High School. Two of the best student athletes, junior Jacy Weisbrod and senior Fiona O'Flaherty. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Fiona, back by popular demand. Fiona was on the show in October, but we're going to revisit some of the things that we talked about, and she's accomplished a great deal since then. But again, we want to send our great wishes for all of you on the holiday season. And when you think of Christmas, you think of a time for family, reflection, gratitude, stepping back from all the things you're involved in, and doing some perhaps deep soul searching on where you're at and where you want to go and so on. And also thinking about some Christmases in the past that were special. Jacy, a thought on that?
I think Christmas in my family is very family-based. So it's almost everything we do, it's with the family. And this Christmas, I don't think we can see my extended family, which it kind of sucks, but I think it'll still be fine with just my sister and my parents. I think we're going to have fun this Christmas, so I'm looking forward to that.
This has been a NASCAR lifestyle recently, meaning that everybody's on the go all the time. Fiona, you're involved, like Jacy, in multiple activities, academic, athletic, all over the place. And all these things that have happened in 2020 have been impacted a lot of people. When you think about your Christmases in the past and maybe who you are and where you want to go, what do you think about?
I just think about, since this year's been so crazy and we've been all over the place, like you said, I just think that this Christmas, I'm just going to focus on like my family, like just my direct family, and just spending time with them, and just trying to make it as normal as possible so that it feels like a normal year, because this year's been so crazy.
Is it hard to slow down though, because your gears are always running? You know, you played 2 sports this fall. You're on the go all the time. It's not that easy to pause, is it?
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. Especially because I've been it was so much during the fall. Now when I just spend time with my family, I'm always just wanting to do stuff because it's been so crazy. So it's just we just have to slow down.
How has the pandemic and virtual school and all the things happening in this world, how has that affected you, Jacy?
Honestly, except for the fact that we don't go to school every day now, it hasn't really changed a lot. I'm not a huge go around, meet a ton of new people. I kind of just stay with a couple of my friends. So, I mean, my dad and my family they're still working in their offices, so it hasn't, not everyone's at home all the time, so it's not really changed my life a whole ton.
The world has been kind of in turmoil, though, with all the things going on. Presidential election, the economy, homelessness, everything has been escalated. When you look ahead because as a senior now, you're moving on to the next chapter of your life, and the world will be yours before too long, and you'll be making the decisions. How do you want to see the world into the future, Fiona?
I think especially with the social turmoil that you said, I think with that especially, we just have to keep focusing on it and making sure to treat everybody equally, what's been happening this year with everything that's been happening. And I just think that as a country, we just need to be more aware of everything going on, I guess.
Again, our guests this week, Jacy Weisbrod and Fiona O'Flaherty. Aquinas High School. When you think of Aquinas High School, you think of a Christ-centered school with deep values, preparing you for the future so you can serve your family, serve the community, serve mankind, go out and be adventurous, but using all those Christ-centered values to make a difference. How are you going to do that? How does your life parallel with what the mission of Aquinas is, Jacy?
I definitely think that one of the biggest things you can take away from Aquinas is learning how to treat everybody equal, no matter like where they're coming from, no matter who they are, and you just need to treat them with compassion and with empathy, and you need to treat everybody with love, no matter what's happening and no matter what they did to you. I think it's really important to treat everybody like you would want to be treated. I think that's a huge takeaway that we get out of Aquinas.
And you, Jacy Weisbrod, you do that, correct? And Fiona, too, servant leadership. I know you're involved in some leadership groups. Servant leadership, which is a hugely important now, and a lot of colleges talk about that, a lot of corporations talk about that. Are you going to serve when you graduate?
I think I'm definitely going to serve, especially in college, especially just like leading by example and trying to like lead a life that I would want other people to follow, just like being kind to everybody. So I'm definitely going to lead in that way, just by setting a good example for everybody else.
You know, being an athlete is a gift. Some people don't really value it, but you're on a platform. You're on a platform when you're in school, when you're in the hallways, when you're in the community, when they watch the show, when they watch KQEG's Game of the Week, and there you are, when they read about you in the paper, and you were in the paper last Sunday, your volleyball gift, you're on a platform. So just quoting a piece of the Bible and other things, other books that I read, much is given, much is expected. How do you demonstrate that? That's a lot on the plate for somebody to as young as you are, to exemplify.
As hard as it could be, I mean, it's definitely necessary. You can't just go around walking, setting a terrible example for kids who are, that are looking up to you, and you just have to be the best person that you can be around them. And even if you see something happening that's like, you obviously know it's not right, you need to be the person that stands up for that and be the voice for some people when they can't have their own. So I think it's important to just to show the people who do look up to you and who are watching your move, just to show them that what is right and what's wrong.
Incorporating your journey that along the way to demonstrate a true blue gold. How do you do that, Fiona?
I think that it's what we've already said basically, but just setting a good example and treating everybody with compassion and kindness. I think that that's what it's about, and just setting a good example for everybody around you and just trying to be happy and make others happy.
What's remarkable about you, Fiona, is that you participate in multiple sports, but in the fall, as I identified on the last time you were on in October, in the fall, two-sport athlete. And you advanced to state in both. And it was like, you're kidding me. In small schools, you can be involved in that, but since you were on last time, you've even demonstrated more of a gift. Share that with us.
So after my last show, we did make it to state in cross country, and I made it in tennis, and that was just really cool because it's such a good thing to be a part of. So being a part of it twice is just awesome, and just the people are like what make it so good, and just spending like such a good experience with all of them was really. You
treasured your opportunity, your time, and you were surrounded by great teammates, and that they elevated you, didn't they?
Yeah, for sure. Especially like the coaches, like the cross-country coaches just made it such a good experience, and the teammates.
Yeah, they did. Well, we mentioned before, Jacy, I opened up the paper last Sunday, and there she is, All-Tribune volleyball athlete. You were profiled in the paper with 199 kills. You were kind of the go-to hitter around the net, 118 digs, and you had a tremendous season as a junior. Did you expect that?
I mean, I knew that I was going to have a different role since basically our go-to hitter last year, Lexi, is gone. Our second one, Courtney, she left too. Kayla left too. Taylor left. So there's a lot of roles to pick up. So I kind of expected being one of the go-tos now this year, now that our strong hitters left. So.
And of course, we're just getting into basketball. You've had 5 games, I think 5-0, and as we tape this show, you are on the heels of a big win against Assumption on Monday, a game that you scored 27 points. Is that your high that you've ever scored?
I think so, for high school, yeah.
And looking at with sports, you are on top again. You're shooting like 50% from the three-point line. You're averaging 18 points a game. So you're off to a great start. Are you comfortable with how you're playing so far?
I think so. Oh, so I think that it's definitely fun. It's a lot of fun stepping into that role, and yeah, I don't know. I think I'm pretty comfortable. There's a lot of things that I need to work on, but I'm comfortable with where I am right now, I think.
Well, you've improved all facets of your game, including you've gotten stronger, and you've done some weightlifting.
Yeah, me, Fiona, and Tori Nolte, we always try to get into the weight room after practice when we can. I mean, it's been like we've had 5 games in a week, so it's been like a couple weeks since we've been able to lift. But every time we can, there's a small group of us, but it's a lot of fun in there.
Fiona, I admire your game too. Watched you play as an official, as a broadcaster. Admire your game because you personify certainly an unselfish attitude. You do what your role is. You don't score a lot of points, but you contribute in a lot of different ways, including an occasional 3-point shot, which goes in. But are you comfortable with where you're at so far this year?
Yeah, I think I am. I think my big thing this year is I just need to play the role that I need to play to help our team do what we want to do, like succeed this year. So I think it's a lot different than Jacy. Like, she makes a lot of good shots and stuff. But I think I just have to fulfill my role this year, like more on the defensive end. So I think that if I just keep doing that and keep making impacts in that way, that'll translate to us having wins and success.
That says a lot in itself, because for young people watching the show, they want to be a star. They want to score points a lot of times. And even if the team wins, I see oftentimes there's not a sense of contentment because they weren't the shining star. But that's not who you are, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, and that's a lesson in itself. On the other side of this break, we're going to learn more about our guests as tremendous student athletes at Aquinas High School. Right ahead.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
Second half of our show. Christmas week, 2 special guests, Jacy Weisbrod, Fiona O'Flaherty. Well, as we talked about, we kind of got into some basketball in the first half of the show, but as I look at the schedule, next Monday, December 30th, 12 noon, the 28th actually, at 12 noon, the Blue Gulls host Lake Mills 9-0, the Capital Conference Madison area. That will be a huge game. I hope you can watch it on our station, but it seems like the Blue Gulls always look for tough opponents. Thoughts on that big matchup coming next Monday, Jacy?
I'm excited for it. I think I love playing like those types of teams like that. They're really good teams. Those are always the most fun games to play. So I'm really excited for that game.
Another big game on the horizon as we get into the month of January, Midwest Players Classic, and we will be covering all 9 games at the Lacrosse Center. The very first game, the Blue Gulls, running women, will play against Paradis. Running means your transition game is one of the things that makes you so successful. And I happened to see Paradis last night. What a great way to start that Midwest Players Classic. In the last few years, Blue Gulls have been in there. Have you any thoughts on that big matchup, Fiona?
I think it's like the same thing that Jacy said, just playing those good teams like Paradis is a good team. So I think it's the same thing where it'll be a really fun, like hard game, especially to start off the Players Classic, which is always fun.
We've talked about athletics a lot and philosophy and so on, but academics is where it all begins, and that's one of your strong suits, academically.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I definitely focus on that a lot just to prepare for my future. I definitely focus on my academics, like with sports, obviously.
Yeah, academics comes first, but academics is going to be the launching pad for what's coming next for Fiona. And what is coming next?
I'm going to college at either Marquette or Madison or St. Thomas. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to major in biology, so that'll be good.
In a career as a?
Either a PA or maybe a doctor or a nurse. I'm not too sure yet. I just like biology, so I think I'm going to major in that and then just see what happens.
You don't have to make up your mind yet.
Yeah.
Exactly. You got a lot of time to determine what you want to be. Well, and Jacy, you aren't sure because you're a junior, so you have a lot of time to prepare. But reading your profile, this is what is incredible. I'm sure our viewers aren't aware of the fact that there's so many D1 schools looking at you. For example, Wyoming, Montana State, Colorado State, Boston, St. Thomas, Eastern Michigan. I probably omitted several that would like to see you perhaps play, but you have a long time to determine that, and your skill set will improve this year and into next year. But take us to where you'd like to go.
I'm really looking forward to maybe leaving the Midwest, really kind of around here, but I love out west. Like I love Montana, Wyoming, Colorado. I just love the landscape, and when I went to some of those schools, I love the environment and I love what they have to offer academically. So I'm just really excited to think about that further in the future.
And is there any of those schools that really stand out? You've talked to the coaches, you've looked at what they have to offer?
As of right now, not necessarily one that really sticks out, but I really do love Montana State. I think that was my first school that I've ever been seriously interested in. So I think that probably would be at the higher end of my list for making a decision.
And it'll be a family decision, of course. And speaking of family, you're blessed with a very supportive family. Talk about that.
I think where I am now and what I've done all happens through my family. I mean, my dad has been with me shooting almost every day. He offers me to shoot, and my mom always pushes me to exercise and just to be my best. And my sister, as we were young, we always would push each other. So I think I owe everything that I have now to my family.
And they've inspired you too. So when you look at role models, people that have been important in your life, that it starts right there.
Yeah, it definitely starts with the strong base of our family that I'm fortunate enough to have.
And Fiona, you're blessed with the same kind of support.
Yeah, I am definitely from a young age. They've always motivated me, especially my brother. He always rebounds for me or plays tennis with me, which I mean that's my main practice I get. We just go out there for hours, so that definitely has helped me.
Defining moments in your career in multi-sports, things that like you put your head down on a pillow at night and you think, oh man, that was an important part of my life?
Through sports, I think like my most defining moments so far were definitely like a few matches this year, like against Altoona, who I lost to last year. That was a big win for me that made me like, that really helped my confidence in tennis. And also like cross country when we made it to state, like that was just a crazy moment because I was like, I run so much and then it just like pays off, like I made it to state. Like those are always like the defining moments.
You measure success of people and you look at their setbacks often, and that determines where they go next. Have you had any disappointments, any setbacks that you've struggled with?
Yeah, I've definitely had some, especially like soccer. My sophomore year season, I got a concussion and broke my nose, so that was definitely really disappointing and like just very disappointing. Also tennis, like if I have a hard match that I lose, like it definitely sets me back a little bit, but it ends up motivating me in the long run.
Jacy, I know one of your big disappointments, and the whole community was disappointed when the state tournament was called off last year after your first game and a win versus Crandon.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a life lesson in itself. Any other disappointments that have maybe you've rallied around and gotten better as a result of?
That's tough. I think one this year has been playing Onalaska volleyball. We were missing a big part of our team and we lost. They swept us, and I think it was really important to take that with us in the next game, and we ended up winning the next game, which felt really good, but I don't know. I think that definitely the state being canceled was probably one of the toughest.
How about defining moments that you think about that were, you maybe were at the top of the mountain, at least for that particular time?
Like in volleyball, I think one of my most memorable games was the regional final at West Salem. I think it was super fun for all of us playing, and I thought that I found some of the spots that I needed to find, and I was pretty proud of myself after that game. So that was a big one for me and my confidence.
Good. Hobbies. What does Jacy like to do when she's not studying or playing sports?
We both live by Hickson, so I like to play tennis sometimes. I see Fiona playing tennis.
You teach her how to play tennis?
Yeah,
or what?
yeah. She's okay, but I see her playing tennis sometimes, and I love hiking back there. That's fun to do. I'm not really a big golf person, but I think definitely the hiking and the tennis is a big.
Hanging around with friends. And,
yeah.
You know, there's some, for those viewers that haven't been there, there's some beautiful hikes in the Cooley region, some new hiking trails up on Granddad's Bluff.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
And I've hiked up there quite often this fall and throughout the summer. And what about hobbies for Fiona?
I mean, I don't have like a ton of free time, but when I do, like I always run. Like that's a big thing. I always do that when I have time to do it, I guess. Or I like to relax a lot too.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, I run quite a bit too, but you're usually ahead of me. So, and I've hollered a couple times, Fiona, slow down a little bit. But I don't think you're so far ahead of me. I don't think you hear me. So, both of you are very young yet, and you have your whole life ahead of you. But at an early age, have you developed a philosophy of life, Jacy?
I definitely think that everything happens for a reason, and everything that has happened, that's what God intended on. So I find it a lot more comforting in hard situations to accept that there is a reason for everything that's happening and to let it play itself out instead of get hung up on the tough times.
I think of a Bible verse, Philippians 4:13, which I see in different gyms actually,
Yeah.
that's on the wall, and it was actually it's in our home, and my mom had it on her wall before she passed away. That was one of the things she looked at a lot. And Philippians 4:13 is important to you.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing through our whole program, really. We have weekly FCA meetings, which is like Fellowship of Christian Athletes, yeah, that. And we talk about that. That's a big focal point in our program, is that quote, that verse right there.
I remember in my years in high school, I was introduced to the FCA group, and I'm still a member decades later. Philosophy of life for this senior that's about to get into the next chapter of her life in the next few months.
I think that, like what I've picked up from my life so far, I just think that you have to just make the most out of everything in life, just so you can live it to the fullest, I guess, and just not having any regrets, just, I guess, living it to the fullest.
No regrets for you?
I don't have any regrets, I don't think.
No regrets for Jacy either? Good, because there's a lot of young people that wouldn't answer that way because they're not content, and my heart goes out to those. But you guys have been blessed, so that's good to hear. Well, as we talked about, basketball season underway, and we'll be covering a lot of games where Jacy and Fiona will be prominently on the court, contributing to the ongoing success of the Aquinas Blue Goals, one of the best programs in the state and in the country. High school, no question about it. Again, this week at Christmas week, Jacy Weisbrod and Fiona O'Flaherty. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's inspiring to meet two student athletes like this. Well, that's it this week here on Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you will have a great and active day.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 five-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Great interview with Fiona O'Flaherty and Jacy Weisbrod from the home of the Blue Goals. Well, speaking of the Blue Goals, Rick and I were back at the D.B. Reinhardt Activity Center on the campus of Aquinas High School for a big non-conference game. The L-Cats from Lake Mills, undefeated, champions last year of the Capital North Conference and advancing to state last year, were here in La Crosse to play the Aquinas Blue Goals. As expected, the game was full of star power. Lake Mills used their senior leadership and inside strength to take an early first-half lead. Aquinas would battle back as the game was tied at 33 going into intermission. The Blue Goals were sluggish early in the second half. Then, a Dave Donarski timeout, some much-needed adjustments, and Aquinas would go on with an impressive run, outscoring the L-Cats by 15 points in the second half. Macy Donarski, the sophomore, had the game of her life, scoring 32 points. Elena Bagneski with 14, Jacy Weisbrod with 13. Vivian Guerrero led the L-Cats with 14. Aquinas moves to 7-0 with a big game on Saturday hosting Madison Edgewood. Lake Mills suffers their very first loss of the season and will travel to Martin Luther High School on January 5th. Final score, Aquinas 75, and Lake Mills 60. Well, as we turn the corner to 2021, we are grateful for you, our viewers, and our guests each week. We sincerely appreciate your support. From all of us here at Seven Rivers Sports, we hope your new year is full of good health and happiness. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Next week, the focus will be on Viterbo V-Hawk basketball with junior player Greg Connell. See you then.